You're listening to the smartest guys in marketing, the best show on the planet for client businesses to learn about traffic, funnels, sales, conversions, and marketing coolness. Chris and Taylor are the founders of Traffic and Funnels, a digital marketing consultancy helping you get paid clients from cold traffic daily. Now, here are your hosts, Chris and Taylor.
See a lot of new people hopping on. What's up? What's up? This is a live podcast edition with the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Evans and T-Money Welch from Traffic and Funnels. And we're taking questions in the comments. So just throw whatever you want to know. Any of the dirty details you want to know. We've got Tory and Kevin, a couple of great clients on. Here's another question. This person says, this is Mario. I never got to the point of understanding what is actually inside CK. Fancy that. I always get the answer that we help people, but never really understood how the program works. So could you guys maybe speak to that? Again, your experience might be a little bit different, but what are your thoughts on that?
I can go first. There's so much information. So it serves the business owner no matter where you are in the process, right? So me specifically, I had zero strategy. So because there's a concierge in there, I have somebody who knows specifically what my needs are and the gaps that I need to fill in my own programming to be successful. So they're keeping tabs on me and pushing me to the material that I need. Then just because you guys, and you said this at Elite, we don't teach you how to act, we teach you how to think. You're always encouraging us. You got to be vocal about what you need. You need to stand in the problem, figure out what the hell it is, and then ask for specific feedback on that. So yes, there's a concierge keeping tabs on you. There's a ton of training information to help you create the most potent offer for your avatar and then actually get that avatar to purchase the programming. But also you need to learn how to think for yourself and be a leader and say, I need this and show up. And I think that was my favorite part of what this experience would be, is because I knew if I had a problem, I just had to show up and ask for it. And you guys would go to the end of the earth to help me with the problem. But if I took the route that I tended to take before and I just suffered alone and thought I should figure it out by myself, you guys aren't going to chase me because you're not here to chase me and do the business for me. You're here to teach me how to think like a leader so I can take that with me moving forward. I don't know if that was even specific enough, but it's just such the experience is so vastly different for everybody. All you need to know is that if you want to make money serving people, they will help you reconnect all the shit that's not working. They will help you make it work so you can go out and you can serve people.
Yeah, I want to hear what Kevin says, but I think that's a brilliant answer. And the reason it's so hard to answer is because we've spent almost 4 years at this point trying to make CK complete. Complete as in 0 to 100, not 0 to 40. And then you have to have 4 other programs to get from 40 to 100. And that's really what a lot of competing products are about, is one product can take you a little bit of the way, then you have to buy another product from the business owner to get there. And so it's hard to look at CK and really put it into a sentence, because it is the things that have to change internally for a person to go from making $8,000 a month to $250,000 a month is you're not the same person. It's cognitive reprogramming at a level far beyond what people realize. And so do you learn pixels? Yeah, you'll learn pixels, but you can't get to $250K a month by mastering Facebook, because how you think will actually unravel all of that. And so it's an interesting thing, because Tori's that was actually a brilliant answer, because it's whatever is broken, it connects back up. That's kind of what's inside, which is a pretty darn good answer. Kevin, what would you say?
Yeah, 100% agree with Tory. And obviously my experience was a little different inside CK. Mine was more reprogramming my mindset to be the leader in my niche. So, inside CK, it was customized for me, right? So, there's just modules and video content and all that stuff, which was great information. But, my background is I have a ton of information already. The problem with me was that I had these blockages with my subconscious blockages that was preventing me from focusing and really gaining momentum to do the stuff that needs to be done to create a business. So I had a lot of mindset stuff coaching on the group calls, and also Cameron helped me out a lot. And then from there, I had help with fulfillment on like, okay, yeah, I made 17K. Now I have fucking anxiety on how am I going to deliver all this stuff? So then you guys hooked me up with somebody to help me make the internal processes in my business go.
And real quick, when he says we hooked him up, we didn't hook him up with another person that he had to pay. We hooked him up as part of he's in our crew. And so we're going to take care of that for him. Real quick, can I just go off on a tangent real fast because of something that you said? You said, I had all of this information already. Here's the number one silliest question in the world that we get all the time. Like, how is this stuff different from what I already know? Like, bro, how do I know what you already know or not? How can we answer that question? How are we going to hack into your brain and see all the stuff you've wasted on? Like, I don't know. I don't know how it's different, but here's what I know. And this is the quiz you should do for yourself. And you can write this down. Here we go. About to preach. Are you where you want to be? And the secondary question is, are you not where you want to be because of what you don't know? Or are you not where you want to be because of who you are, who you're not, what you're not doing? And if you think that hiring or investing into mentors like me and Chris is just about information, you're crazy. You're crazy in the head. Because at the end of the day, I know less information than people who are maybe out there doing way less money than me. The rich aren't rich because of information, and the poor aren't poor because they're dumb. The rich are rich because of who they become, how they think about their circumstances, how they adapt, and how they create their environment. And so don't make the mistake. You hear Kevin being like, I had all this information already. Kevin probably didn't learn that many things. We're like, oh my God, I've never even heard of this before. We weren't like, hey, here's what Facebook is. And you're like, my God, Facebook.com, YouTube.com. Who would have thought? It's more of like reorganizing processes in his brain. Dude, are you at the top of the mountain or the bottom of the mountain? How do you think about yourself? And then how do you do your sales calls? And how is your fulfillment set up? It's less about, am I making sense right now? I just think this is like a big deal.
Yeah, it's not information, it's transformation.
Well, there you go. I could have just said that. I would have saved me a minute of rant.
Hey, David said, how long have you guys been in CK? So he probably missed that earlier. How soon do you expect to see financial results from the CK best practices you have or are putting in place?
All right. So how long have you been in CK? How long do you expect to wait before seeing results? Take it away.
Yeah, I can go. So I started CK November of last year, November 30th. And then I broke my revenue ceiling within that same month by taking the actions that I learned in CK.
Within the 30 days?
Yeah. So by the end of the month, I was at 17K.
And what was your previous ceiling?
About 11.5.
Okay. What about you, Tori?
So I started CK mid-August last year, and within 2 days, I made back my investment. And then when I was done CK, I upgraded to Elite.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Speaking of, do you want to tackle another question, Chris?
Go ahead.
About that. Somebody asked, I'm trying to find it. I can't see it in the chat, but maybe this was submitted earlier. What comes after CK? Can you share some deets? So, Tori, you just said upgraded to Elite. Talk about that.
So I liked that you primed us right in the beginning. Like it's like no secret upsell or anything at the end. Like, hey, we have this other bigger thing and you could be invited to it after if you really show up in CK. So that had always been my goal. So at the end of CK, I had an opportunity to work with you guys even more closely and give myself the opportunity to play even bigger, raise the stakes even more. So when you asked me if I wanted to join the 6-month Elite Mastermind, a smaller circle of people who had already gone through CK who wanted to play even bigger, I just thought it was a no-brainer, and I said yes.
Wonderful. And you were in Nashville last week with about 40, 50 of us, and was that a good time?
It was unreal. It was great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. And we do that every quarter. Speaking of, Kevin, we should just have that conversation now and get you into Elite while we're live.
Well, that's my goal. That's my next goal. That's my target, getting into elite.
So if you're watching this live and you would like Kevin to upgrade today on the call, just throw in a yes in the chat box. Hey, Kevin. All right. Sorry, Kevin. We won't do that to you. Cool. I got another question, Chris, unless you want to take something.
Go ahead.
What is the process in CK for narrowing down an offer when you provide done for you? So Kevin, this is right up your alley. What's the process for narrowing down your offer? And does it have to be different in scope for each client?
Yeah, I think so. So the process for me, sharing from my experience, was that, I went through the process of, figuring out my avatar, figuring out my offer. And then I had a call with one of the experts within the team, one-on-one, which was pretty awesome. And, he helped me get out of my own biases, because it was kind of, you work in something for so long. It's just that you just don't see things that your customers kind of want to see. So I was basically sleepwalking without knowing it until he snapped me out of it. And then he kind of helped me craft the offer and what that person or my ideal avatar would want to see and hear. So that was the process for me. And then from there, I was just tweaking my offer on my organic strategy, and just kept tweaking. And I had help from the CK team. And that's when things really started blowing up after 30 days. So now I actually have, once I figured out that offer, now I have opportunities that are kind of coming up that I got to figure out if I want to take or not.
So Kevin, looking at the chat box right now, people are saying yes. Do it, Kevin. Do it.
You have a lot of people behind you, Kevin.
Give the people what they want, Kevin.
Give it to them, Kevin.
All right. Well, I'll give the answer at the end of this live podcast.
What? Wow.
You have to stay on now. You can tell he's a copywriter.
That's copywriting magic right there.
He open looped us.
I'm staying on now. I was going to leave, but I'm staying.
Chris, what do you think about that? Any other questions you want to hit right now, or we're getting new ones in the chat? So,
well, we get this. Someone said, "Is CK good for beginners, like just starting out, no clients yet? If not, any recommendations?"
Thoughts on that, or
what?
Tory, what do you think? Honest answer.
100% honesty.
Honest answer. I think you got to be willing to play really big. You're going to get eaten alive. So you got to just decide to hang in. But yes, I think that that's going to catapult you, instead of wasting 3 years like I did, just dicking around pretending I was running a business. So I say it is yes, but I'm not going to say it's easy or comfortable.
Yeah.
I would think that's a great answer. Just as we're on there, we've got Steenberg.
Yeah.
He hadn't had a client. But I love the phrase, and I think we need to get this on a big picture and put it in the new offices. You're going to get eaten alive. You're going to get eaten alive. Tory Dube, put it on the wall. That's the best answer. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
After being in CK, because before my mindset to all this was definitely totally different, but you definitely have to be able to be willing to do the work, and you have to be willing to live in chaos, because that's what it felt like. And with this whole kind of reprogramming, that's kind of where I was at in December. I'm like, all right, I got a ton of clients, but I'm a one-man show. But, CK tells you, or they teach you, and they're there to support you, okay, how do you handle the next problem? How do you smash that next problem? So short answer, yes, but, you have to be willing to live in chaos and also keep taking action throughout chaos. And if you're willing to do that, for sure, get in there, and then you'll definitely half the time that doing it on your own.
A follow-up to that, Jeffrey says, is it only good for high-end consultants, or can this program be used to sell modest programs under $1,000?
I'll answer that. That's an interesting question. I think actually a lot of our clients come in selling products under $1,000 because they think that's what their value is. So that's one of the things that we tweak and we adjust and help restructure offers or create completely new offers. So if it is only you could only charge $1,000 or less, then it really just comes down to the economics of what you're doing, the market. Like there's a lot of other things that go into that. And just to add on to the back of that other question, I think the most important thing is you have to be able to help someone get a result. It comes down to that, right? And there's two classes, like either like you can or you're not sure if you can. Right? And that goes back to the imposter syndrome thing that we were talking about earlier. The only way to find out is to get on the field of play. Right? When we started Traffic and Funnels, we knew that we could help people get results, but we didn't have like the picture just painted very clearly for us. It took a lot of clients until we really had clarity on that. But we just went forward, we collected cash, and we had confidence that we would stick with them until we figured it out for them. Right? And there's other like tweaks and elements to that. And then the other thing, like Tory and Kevin said, is you just being willing to endure the things that are going to come at you. And that was Steenberg, man. That dude, like, he had the ability to help people with Facebook ads. Very little experience. I don't even know if he had a client at that point.
I don't think he had.
But the dude just like got off his ass and went to work. Like he just pounded the streets essentially until he just got that momentum and that confidence built. And now he's killing it, 2 years later.
I think it's more of a psychology thing than it is like a beginner or advanced thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll get people who are not beginners. They had 1 month that they did 12 grand. They think that their last name is Bezos all of a sudden, and they won't do anything we tell them to do. And it's like, you are unhelpable. Like, we can't help you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll get people who are total beginners, and they're like, yeah, throw it at me. I don't get offended by the truth. I don't get offended by things. I'm ready to go. Like, just give me what's real. Teach me. And those people end up flourishing. So I think it's more of a mental attitude thing. If you've got ego, run away from us as fast as you can. Leave. I'll give you a list of people and programs that you can buy, and you can infect them with your ego. Don't infect us, because that's not what we're about. In fact, this is an interesting question. CK will probably break down your ego systematically faster than anything else.
Tori's shaking her head, yes.
Not because we're mean. It's just like, you can talk about that when you come in. It's like there is somebody who makes what you make in a month in a day in CK. You're going to see them post. And it's just like this environment where it's like, and I want that for me, even personally. I want to be around people who are like, man, I'm nothing. I can do so much more. And that's kind of what the environment is created to do.
Do you guys have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I think that the people so in that environment, you get to choose whether you're inspired by that or whether you're resentful and just wondering why it's not happening to you yet. And I noticed the people in CK who are resentful that other people are finding success, they're wasting all their energy on that and they never hit the success. Whereas the people who come in and they go, oh, wow, look what is possible. They're the ones who they're just hungry to learn, to be shaped, even if the truth hurts sometimes.
Yes, 100%. And Kristen Sullivan is on the chat. And she said at the event last week, one of our coaches, basically, I told her to pull her offer and start over. And she said, it hurt and it sucked, but it's reality. And I'm grateful to at least know that. And without CK, I wouldn't have known that. That's the attitude. It's like, man, so many people live life with their head in the sand because it feels better to think that they're doing the right thing. And then they can blame it on everyone else. When you come into somewhere like CK, you have to take responsibility all of a sudden. It's uncomfortable. And you can't deflect that responsibility to the market or to Donald Trump or Obama or Facebook. You have to actually take it, run with it. And that is an uncomfortable thing at the beginning. It's a little whiplashy, Chris, what's next?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that. And some people even call it abuse.
I think that's the greatest thing that you guys have taught me. If the internet dies, like if literally we can't use the internet anymore, I trust myself to go out and be resourceful and provide for my family.
That's amazing.
You want to go? You want me to talk about that real fast? Or you got a train of thought you're going on?
No, go ahead.
So something that she just said, she says, I trust myself. I trust myself to be able to go out and be resourceful. Let me tell you this. Unfollow everyone who is preaching about how if you join their program, it's 100% success rates. And talking about client experience. Look, we have one of the best client experiences around, but we are very much about actually training the client to become resourceful and dependable. Here's the thing, and Tory, you've probably noticed this in building your own programs. Kevin, when you transition to consulting work, you'll go through the same thing. It's actually not good to give the client everything they need and put it right in front of them all the time. There's a little bit of advantage that we build into clients by them having to hunt for something or being in an environment where they have to raise their hand for something. And I see these guys online sometimes. They're like 100% success rate this, and like if people don't know exactly what to do, when to do it. But that's not the game. That actually produces babies and immature entrepreneurs who don't know how to think for that. They don't know how to grind. They don't know how to reach out for something. And I'm actually proud that you said you trust yourself to be resourceful, because we've gotten a lot of pushback in the last 6 months of like, well, you need to make this easier. No, it's not about making it easier. It's about teaching clients how to get better, you know? Your dog agrees with me.
Emily said she's been online for 10 years and didn't know how to put all this together until she got into CK. Like, she used to basically talking about she just worked really, really hard for 10 years, did all the right things, and now it's all clicking. That's the thing. It's like, that was kind of my story. Like, I had gone through course after course. I had seen from the outside on how to be successful. And I just didn't know how to, like, all the things worked together. And when you have that harmony, you know, when you have an amazing offer, you know how to get the attention of your market, and you know how to collect cash, and those things are in sync, that's when the game changes. And that's when, like, all the hard work that you've been putting in for the little amount of money changes, right? That switch happens. You guys have anything to say on that, Kevin or Tory?
I think you said it best. I don't have anything to add.
Kevin's like, yeah, I need to go do some squats. Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have. Any stragglers, throw them in. We'll hit them as a way of landing the plane. Tory, if you could go back and give yourself advice when you were first coming into CK, what would that advice be? And I think that in telling us that, a lot of people could take that as advice to them. What would you tell yourself? Like, how would you advise people to think, you know?
I would advise them to take the mindset stuff super seriously and understand that it's okay to be incredibly uncomfortable. It doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. It means you're in the right place and you're actually stretching.
Love that. What about someone who's on the fence right now? They've been following us for a while. They're not totally sure. There's a lot of fear. How would you advise them to think?
I would invite them to ask themselves who they want to be, and does that version of them believe that this success is available to them? And if the answer is yes, then it's time to do the work to get there.
Even if it's scary.
It's going to be scary. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Nobody's lying about that. But like you teach us, there's two ways to feel comfortable or to feel control. You can go backwards and you can stay in the shitty situation you have and just go, oh, well, this is comfortable because I know it. Or you can move forward through the discomfort, have a heart attack for a couple months, and then eventually normalize this new level and trust yourself, believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Kevin, take us back to when you were kind of making the decision to come in. What advice would you give yourself, and what advice would you give people who are on the fence, kind of thinking it through?
Yeah, so since before I jumped on CK, I had more of spousal support problems, you know, and I've had a background of running 2 brick and mortar businesses. So, you know, for those that aren't getting the support from your wife or your husband, you know, you just got to find out what's really what they're emotionally tied to. And for me, it was like the credit card debt and, you know, figuring out how to ease that so you can jump in and then be ready to take action and get on all the mindset calls.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you guys so much for being on here. You guys are amazing. It's awesome. Kevin, what's your answer? You promised.
Oh, damn. Well, you know, since I talked about chaos and just jumping right in, I'm going to go for it.
Yes. Tori's in. She can tell you all about it. Is that a good decision, Tori?
It's the best decision. And I'll see you in Nashville in April.
Awesome.
Come on.
Looking forward to it.
The people are excited. You gave them what they wanted. All right, guys. Love you both.
I love it because it's uncomfortable to grow, right? Like everything in our being is going to push us back to mediocrity. So I knew if I wasn't uncomfortable knowing I had this bill to pay every month, I would have just stalled and I would have slowly gone back to who I was before. Now I cannot stall. I feel like I'm like leading the bike race. And if I stop, all the bikes are going to pile up over me. So every day I got to check in with what's important and just keep moving.
100%. And last week we fixed some things together with your stuff that where else are you going to find that? You know, like literally, Kevin, you weren't there, but she's talking about some things that she's building on in her business. It's like, yeah, we've been through that and it's actually probably this. And she's like, oh, okay, just write it down. It's like, that's
I learned every
powerful.
time I hit a problem or a snag in how I'm scaling, I always recognize immediately where you guys have like primed everybody for that potential problem, that mindset gap, the whatever it is. I can just, the further I go into it, I see how intentional your programming is. Like down to the emails, down to how you introduce things. Like that stuff is invaluable to me, but I wouldn't be able to ask those questions unless I was in the thick of it. And now I can literally learn as I go. Yeah. You, like you guys said, you guys are like my disaster insurance. Like I'm not afraid of being incredibly uncomfortable all the time because I have people who have already done it to go back to and go, oh my God, what the fuck do I do about this? You just tell me what to do in that moment.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%. Like a good neighbor. Oh, see what I did there?
Don't get us sued, bro.
I'm about to have a baby, so the dad jokes are just coming out. I was like getting all the dad jokes in. Like people are like, yeah, Lindsay was not very happy about that, but hey, it's whatever. I went to Kevin and got some advice on how to deal with it. All right, y'all. Thanks for being on here. If you attended, thanks for being on here as well. We love you guys. Adios.